I want you to think about something. Think about your German Shepherd's biggest problem. The thing that frustrates you most. The behavior you cannot fix. The anxiety you cannot calm. The reactivity you cannot explain. Hold that thought. Hold it right there. Because in a few minutes, you are going to find out where that problem actually comes from. And I need to warn you before we go any further. What you are about to hear is not comfortable. It is not flattering. And the owners who have heard it, every single one of them, went very quiet. Are you ready? Because your German Shepherd has been trying to tell you this since the very first day they came home. There is a belief that most German Shepherd owners carry, quietly, without ever examining it. The belief that their dog's problems are their dog's problems. The anxiety, the reactivity, the inability to settle, the hypervigilance that never switches off. We look at these things and we think, this is my dog. This is just how they are. This is a breed thing, or a rescue thing, or a genetics thing. And sometimes, those things are true. But most of the time, the answer is somewhere the owner never thinks to look. In the mirror, your German Shepherd is not just living with you. They are living inside your emotional world. And what is happening in that world is happening in them. Right now, as you watch this video, as you breathe, as your heart beats, they feel it, all of it. In 2019, researchers at Linköping University in Sweden published a study that quietly changed everything. They measured cortisol levels, the biological stress hormone, in both German Shepherds and their owners over an extended period. What they found was something that nobody in that laboratory was fully prepared for. The cortisol levels of the dogs mirrored the cortisol levels of their owners. Not sometimes, not roughly, precisely. When the owner's stress went up, the dog's stress went up. When the owner found peace, the dog found peace. The dogs were not reacting to external events. They were not responding to training. They were not following commands. They were doing something far more profound. They were synchronizing at a biological level with the internal emotional state of the person they loved. Your German Shepherd is not a separate being living beside you. They are a living biological reflection of who you are on the inside, right now. Here is where it gets uncomfortable. Because if your German Shepherd mirrors your internal state, then every person who meets your dog is meeting a version of you, the anxious German Shepherd, that cannot settle in new environments, that scans every room for threats, that cannot fully trust that everything is okay, is often living with someone whose nervous system does exactly the same thing, in human form, the reactive German Shepherd that explodes at triggers without warning. That goes from 0 to 100, with no visible middle ground, is often living with someone who recognizes that pattern, if they are honest. The German Shepherd that is shut down, disconnected, going through the motions without real engagement, is sometimes living with someone who feels exactly that way and hasn't told anyone. I am not saying this to hurt you. I am saying this because the trainers who understand it are the ones who get results that other trainers cannot explain. Because they know something most people never discover. You cannot train your way out of a problem that lives inside you. There are 3 reflections that show up most consistently. The first is anxiety, when an owner carries chronic low-level anxiety, the kind that does not feel like anxiety, because it has been there so long it feels like personality. Their German Shepherd develops hypervigilance, not from lack of training, from biological synchronization with a nervous system that never fully believes it is safe. The second reflection is inconsistency. When an owner is emotionally unpredictable, kind one day, short-tempered the next, engaged sometimes, distant others, their German Shepherd becomes uncertain. Not disobedient, uncertain, because the dog's entire sense of security rests on being able to predict their person. And when their person is unpredictable, the dog's world has no stable ground. The third reflection, and this one is the hardest to hear, is disconnection. When an owner is physically present but emotionally somewhere else, scrolling, distracted, going through the motions of ownership without genuine presence, their German Shepherd develops a specific kind of sadness. Not dramatic, not loud, a quiet withdrawal. A dog that has learned that reaching out doesn't reach anything, so they stop. And a German Shepherd that has stopped reaching out has lost something that is very hard to get back. Look at your dog right now. Which reflection do you see? Here is what happens when owners hear this for the first time. The first reaction is resistance. My dog has always been anxious. My dog is just a nervous breed. My dog has trauma from before I got them. And sometimes, those things are true. Trauma is real. Genetics are real. Early experiences leave marks that are real, but then, in the quiet after the resistance, something else happens. A memory surfaces of a period in their life when things were hard, and the dog was harder. Of a season when they found peace, and the dog seemed to find it too. Of a night they cried, and the dog appeared from nowhere, and pressed against them, and stayed, like they were trying to absorb the pain, take it out of the person they loved, carry some of it themselves. That memory is not coincidence. That is your German Shepherd, living inside your emotional world, feeling what you feel, responding to what you carry, trying, in the only way they know how, to help you carry it. So here is the truth that changes everything. If your German Shepherd reflects you, then the most powerful thing you can do for your dog is not find a better trainer. It is not buy better equipment. It is not try a different method. It is become someone worth reflecting. Not perfect, not endlessly positive, not performing happiness for your dog, but genuinely working on yourself, your nervous system, your consistency, your presence, your ability to be actually there. Because here is what the research shows. When owners work on their own anxiety, their German Shepherd's anxiety measurably decreases. When owners become more consistent, their German Shepherd becomes more settled. When owners put the phone down and are genuinely present, their German Shepherd comes back from wherever the disconnection took them. The most extraordinary German Shepherds in the world do not have the best training programs. They have the most regulated owners, the most present owners, the most consistent owners, owners who understand that the dog looking back at them is showing them something every single day. The question is not what is wrong with your German Shepherd. The question is whether you are brave enough to look at what they are showing you and do something about it. Tell me in the comments, which reflection did you recognize? Be honest, nobody is judging. We are all works in progress, and so are our dogs. Share this video, because somewhere out there, an owner is blaming their German Shepherd for something that lives inside themselves, and they need to see this. Subscribe. Every week we go this deep. Go look at your dog, really look. They have been showing you something this whole time.